Ultizeta here, and welcome back to more Let's Play Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. In the last episode, we got to a new dungeon, started doing that dungeon, and we're doing that dungeon now, in fact. So that's what we're going to be continuing to do. I don't think the slingshot's working. Let's try this. Anyways, you might have noticed that on my things was the bird that I hate so very, very much. Apparently, that bird... Huh. I guess I'm just gonna have to avoid these things, then. Or, unless I can attack... I guess I can attack. Okay, so that was all completely pointless. Apparently, if you save inside of a dungeon, it doesn't necessarily let you, like, just stay where you are. So, what I did was I looked up, like, hey, does anyone have any strategies for, like, saving in a dungeon? No, what it was like, I was like, I looked up, thanks to Google and whatever, I was like, if I saved in a dungeon, where's it gonna place me when I come back? That was what I posed to the internet. And what I basically learned, this controls really weirdly. What I basically learned is the game would have placed me at the beginning of the dungeon, and I did not want to do those early rooms again because they're stupid and long and it's just platforming. So I was like, but when I was informed of that from Yahoo Answers, I think, they was like, but there is a good solution, and that solution is if you use Oku or Aku or whatever her frickin' name is. She will basically wind you back to the start of the temple, and you'll be outside of the temple. And then, if you save there, and then warp back in, then you'll be exactly where you were. So it's a nice little exploity thing, I guess. So that's what I did, and that's why I had them out. Also, she has a son that's literally just ahead, and that's creepy. It's somehow even creepier than before. Also, this Iron Boots walking mechanic is quite slow, if I do say so myself. So, anyways, I'm recording this off the... heels of E3 Nintendo 2017's presentation. Cool. Alright, so I guess that's all that was about. So, things are a little... I don't know. I'm in a Nintendo mood. And I was in a good mood, which rarely happens, honestly. So, I was like, I want to record today. What is going on? Controlling this is so weird. It doesn't feel good to control. And I don't like controlling it. There's a lizard down there. So where do I want to go up here? Anyways, E3, it exists. I guess, I don't know, it would be weird to talk about that right now, although, because it's like, it would severely date the episode. There's a door over there. That's the door I want to go in. How do I go in? There's a door. Let's go this way. Anyways, so it would be weird to date things, and also this is Twilight Princess. It's not literally nothing related to E3, so like, I don't know. I guess this will be all I mention of it. It's just kind of why I'm like, hey, let's record. But it does raise something that has been concerning me a little bit. And that's that there are a lot of games that I want to play. And The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD is not one. At the moment, I have been recording this Let's Play, on and off, but I'm not really into it. You guys probably realize this from the fact that updates have been so scarce for this Let's Play. And I don't think what I'm about to say is really going to help that. Because I'm thinking that right now, I'm more in the mood to play other games. It's just a simple fact, I'm more interested in playing other games right now. So, I think it might be for the best, for the overall sense of this Let's Play, as well as my general channel existence on YouTube, if I stopped worrying about this Let's Play, and just put it on hiatus, and just was like, yeah, let's just stop playing Twilight Princess for now, and come back to it at a time when I'm like, I want to play Twilight Princess again. Which I'm sure will happen eventually, because if nothing else, I really do not like the idea of leaving Let's Plays unturned. I mean, I went back and finished Yoshi's Island, I went back and finished Kirby Superstar Plus Ultra, I went back and finished Sonic 06. We've done everything. So every time I take a break, I went back and finished Sonic Heroes, just so on and so forth. Every time I take a break with a Let's Play, it gets finished eventually. And the same will hold true for Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. I 100% guarantee that. Unless I actually just die, then it won't get finished. But I mean, what are the chances of that happening? With my depression, probably not the lowest chance, but still pretty low. And so, yeah, I didn't want to just leave the dungeon unfinished because I was gonna forget everything and not understand anything, and it would be just really awkward to stop here. So, I'm gonna finish this dungeon. Oh, I'm in here. Okay. I'm gonna finish this dungeon, basically, in this recording session. But this session, for me, is gonna be the last session for Twilight Princess for probably quite some time. I don't know, I'm just not feeling the game, really. And honestly, I feel like it's kind of hurt things for this Let's Play. Like, I've been overly negative and, like, bored and just... So, I don't know, I feel like I feel like, even though I don't think this game is amazing yet, nothing's really wowed me, it just kind of feels like it's Ocarina of Time 2.0, with meh visuals and meh dungeon design and stuff. I'm in the water now. Please go away, Tektites. So I definitely feel like there's been a strong sense of negativity from me, simply because I'm forcing myself to play the game for the Let's Play. So, what I'm thinking is that if I wait until a moment when I actually want to play the game, then the Let's Play will have better commentary and just be a better overall experience for me. It makes a lot of sense to me. Don't know about you guys, but yeah. So, in that regard, I do think it will be for the best. Plus, I get to put on content that more people probably might want to see. I mean, this Let's Play hasn't not necessarily been the most viewed Let's Play of mine. I mean, not that I tend to get, like, tons of views, but usually I can average around, like, 30 or so. But this Let's Play's been getting, like, 6 views per episode, which is similar to what happened with Skyward Sword, so I wonder if this is just that people don't really care about Zelda games. Or maybe that people just want to play Zelda games and don't care about watching them? I don't know. Or it might have something to do with just... I don't know what it is, really. It's interesting, though, that Zelda games, to me, so far, have consistently not been interesting to people compared to my other Let's Plays. Do people really just... I don't know, because I'm like... I can't even ask on video because the people I would want to ask aren't gonna be watching the video. So how can I ask them? I guess I could ask them in a different video, but... still. So, yeah, that's kind of a thing. I don't know. I got 20 rupees. So, that's that. Oh, I guess I can't walk on that. Alright. Oh. Alright, well. Okay, fine. I'll play it your way, game. Why is everything in this stupid dungeon timed? Okay, can I just... So, you might have noticed how, like, negative I've been about the dungeon design so far. I definitely know exactly why that is. It's because of a video series that I have been watching on YouTube every so often when it updates. I found it somewhat recently. Around the time when I started this Let's Play, actually. It's called, Dungeon Keys. Or, no, Boss Keys. It's called Boss Keys by a guy named Mark Brown, who makes a YouTube channel called The Game Maker's Toolkit. And it's a very interesting analysis of Legend of Zelda dungeon design. And I have been quite enjoying it, personally. I've been quite enjoying it myself. And while I didn't watch the Twilight Princess episode that he did, because I didn't want spoilers on what the dungeons end up being like, oh, those are Beamos. I was wondering what those spinny things were, but making them Beamos makes sense, I guess. I'm gonna guess that's for the door. I have no idea. Anyways, I feel like I've subconsciously been letting that analysis affect my opinion on the dungeon designs, but there is an interesting case to an argument to be made there for what makes Zelda dungeons good or bad or whatever. And the argument that Mark Brown was making is that better dungeon design from Zelda comes from when you have to really think about the dungeon's layout as a whole and, like, consider it as one overall objective rather than a series of linear room-by-room puzzles that often just walk you through the overall dungeon. Which is what this Let's Play, this game basically has been doing, is like, so far it's basically just, okay, can you figure out the small mini puzzle of this individual room and then keep going? And so that's why it kind of bugs me that so far the previous dungeon and this dungeon had just been very, very linear things. Like, I do agree with Mark Brown in this regard. Plus, I watched his Skyward Sword Let's Play, not Let's Play, but his video on Skyward Sword, and it was, oh, there's a thing I need to cut over there, that's why you go over there, okay. His video on Skyward Sword was basically praising most of the dungeon design in that game. Even though he doesn't like the game, he did admit that the dungeon design was pretty quality dungeon design for the most part. Although he was annoyed that some characters ruined some of the puzzles by basically being hand-holdy, which makes sense. He was pretty hand-holdy at times. One notable example he mentioned was when, like, in the sand ship in Skyward Sword, such a great dungeon, but, like, there's this puzzle where you need to shoot the time shift stone right at the very beginning, so you, like, you use your awareness of the dungeon and its layout to look through the grates and shoot an arrow at the time shift stone. That's such a great puzzle, but the very first time it happens, Fee just tells you to do it. And he was annoyed at that, because he was like, this would have been a great puzzle if Fee didn't just outright tell you. And I kind of agree. I don't really remember how I reacted to it. I was probably just like, oh, okay.
Master, look up. You can reach the time shift zone on the deck through the ventilation shaft and ceiling. I wonder what I need to do here.
I don't know, I was a different gamer back in 2012. But, yeah, so basically the point is that he doesn't really like the linear walk you through the overall dungeon concept, and finds it much more fulfilling as dungeon experiences when you basically have to use your wit, not just to solve, like, mini puzzles. Which is basically the overworld anyway, but to then use your knowledge of basically the game and the area that you're in to, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but just giving the games a sense, the dungeons a sense of exploration, really. More than just walking through it. Which is basically what I'm doing right now, is just walking through this whole thing. Alright, that's not gonna work. Let's try it. So I can agree with him there. Alright, so what do I need to do for this room? Because yeah, see, like, this is another individual puzzle room. It's like, okay, so I can't progress until I figure out what this individual room's deal is. And then I just go forward. And so it's like, that's why I've been finding myself bored with the Twilight Princess dungeon design. Especially because I played Skyward Sword first, a game which has dungeon... It has similar dungeons to this in some instances that are kind of linear, although I generally prefer Skyward Sword's gameplay anyway, compared to this. Like, I liked the general combat sense, because, like, I thought that was way more interesting to me. But Skyward Sword, from what he analyzed, was a lot more interesting with its dungeons, basically. Whereas this is basically just keep walking and eventually you'll get what you need to. So I can agree that there is just there's too much of a sense of linearity here. Like, the issue that it seems most people had with Skyward Sword was just how it was too linear in the overworld, as well as other things like padding and other stuff. Some people didn't like the models of the game, which I think weird, but okay. But yeah, like, I am trying to be less negative towards this game right now, but I still don't think it's all that great, and I do have analytical reasons for that. The reason why I'm feeling bored with the game is because the game doesn't feel like it's challenging me. It just kind of feels like it's trying to be Ocarina of Time again. So it's keeping a lot of those themings the same, it's keeping a lot of the general sense the same. It doesn't feel like it's trying to be anything, and I don't know, its story doesn't seem to the story is not really gripping me either. I don't care one bit about, like, the kids that we have to rescue. They just exist, and okay, I guess we're getting them. Well, okay. I actually don't know what to do here. And it's probably just gonna yell at me. I don't know what to do here, so I guess I'm just gonna end the episode and cut back into when I figure out what to do. Wait, I have a key. When did I get a key? Okay, when did I thought I used my only key on the last door that we used to get in here. I genuinely do not remember getting a second key. God, I'm an idiot. Thank you for yelling at your screens. It probably helped me somehow. I guess we'll do this room in the next episode then? But yeah. The dungeons aren't... The dungeons are fairly kind of like, whatever. We'll continue to do the dungeons in the future, though. So, next time.